one hit too many, and I'm like, I need to go home. Everyone hates me. Everyone here thinks I'm weird. They can hear me breathing. They can hear my weird thoughts.
I
The
like, turn it
intrusive
off.
thoughts. I will be like with an old person and be like, what, like.
I would love to know where that one was going.
Yeah, I have a song coming out in July.
Could you talk about the title?
It's called I Should Have F***ed Your Brother.
No, you're joking.
No, I swear to God.
No. No.
Olivia.
All right. Before we get started, you wanted to try the new flavor.
It's good. It reminds me of the apple pear one.
Yeah.
Which is like slightly different, obviously, because it's different.
Nice.
Sweet.
Well, my favorite part of you is when you drink, you close your eyes. Like, you're really into it.
It's weird if I keep...
Make eye contact. While you take a sip, make eye contact.
All right. Welcome back, guys. You guys are watching the George Janko Show. If you guys are new here, I'm here with my beautiful girlfriend, Shauna Delarica.
Hi.
And my special friend, Olivia O'Brien. First of all, we got to give her way more energy, dude.
Olivia!
Thank you.
You are living my dream. And I wanted to say that on camera so you know that I really mean it. Growing up, I was a huge Hannah Montana fan. And like, I always wanted to be like this pop star where I run around Hollywood with my friends and I make music about my life and the whole world gets to hear it. And like watching you talk about your life, but then see it come to life with music. Like the first time I heard any of your music was on a radio station on the way home, and they're like, "This is a new song by Olivia O'Brien." And they played the song, and I knew what you were talking about and where it came from. And I just think it's the coolest thing ever, dude. Do you ever how did it start, and how do you feel now that you have like people singing back your feelings on like?
I mean, how did it start is like such a crazy question because like you want me to go way back to the beginning.
I want to dive into like the first time you ever heard music, what inspired
First
you.
time I
Like,
ever heard music. I actually don't remember that. I was probably a baby. But I started writing songs when I was like, as soon as I could write words, as soon as I knew how to make things rhyme. Like, and I went to Montessori school when I was little, so they were very into like music and any creative outlet. Like we'd have circle time where everyone will get their own little instrument. Like there was this one that was like a wooden frog and had like the little thing and go like this. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And like a little tambourine.
You don't know the frog where you rub the back and it makes like a noise like a frog.
Oh yeah. Actually,
yeah.
I
So
do.
we'd have like weird little instruments like that, and we'd all sing and play our like instruments. And we all had little journals, and we could write whatever we wanted. And I started writing. I also really love writing like just like stories. Like right now I'm working on a novel, which I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish.
That's awesome.
So you're a writer.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, I mean, obviously I love music, but writing has been my passion forever. So when I found like old books of me or like little notebooks of songs that I wrote when I was like 7, they were I was like verse 1, and they were really bad, obviously. But I was rhyming and I was doing it, and I was 7 years old, and I think that's pretty cool. So it's been a part of my life since I was like literally a child. Like since it was humanly possible to write songs, I've been writing songs. And then, you know, as you grow up, you get more self-conscious and you don't want to share those things with the world because, you know, like middle school people are mean and high school people are meaner. And eventually I got to a point where I was so passionate about what I was doing, and my like close friends, I would play them stuff and they would be so excited about it. They're like, you should post it. And so then that's when I got the courage to start posting on SoundCloud, and I would do covers and then also post a few original things. When I posted covers, I would get a lot of flack from people in school. They were not very nice about it, but they were especially mean when I posted original stuff. So I ended up deleting like all of that stuff until I did I Hate You, I Love You. And then it randomly blew up, and then people were even more upset about that. Then they were like, oh, she must, it went from like, she's so weird, why does she think she can do that? Like, why is she posting that? No one cares. And then as soon as people started caring, it was like, oh, she must think she's so cool, like leaving and just going to Hollywood. Like, you're not even like cool. Like, why are you doing that? So you can't please anyone, right? So
No,
No, you can't.
Does it still affect you now? And also, do you think it was beneficial for them to hate you before for you to deal with it now?
I do think that it was beneficial. Like, I think I can deal with hate better now. Not that I'm great at it. I'm definitely not. Like, if I'm already in a bad mood and I see a hate comment,
Really
it's
affects
over
you?
for me. Yeah. If I'm in a good mood and I see a hate comment, I just laugh. So, and it really depends. Like, if it's something that just like genuinely really isn't true. Like if I see someone commenting something that's just like a blatant lie or like something made up or just anything like that, that really gets to me because I'm just like, I want to shake them and scream and be like, that's not true. Like I never did that, or I don't feel that way, or that never happened, whatever. But things that are like pointless and stupid, like someone calling me ugly, like I don't care about that anymore, or like someone saying they don't like my music, I don't care about that anymore either, because I've learned that there are millions of people that do like my music. That's enough. And there's lots of people like that are huge artists, or I don't listen to their music, but I still can respect them as an artist.
I realized the one thing that did affect me when it came to hateful comments is when it could look like it's true. When they shape my character. And I feel like it hurts because you know more than anybody, like in this industry, when you take the high road, the harder road, the level where a lot of people would cheap out, take that easy cut, and then they shape you into like a different person that is not who you are. You're like, bro, you have no idea how many sleepless nights I had to become the person that I am. And you're just, and you know what hurts is that people would read it and it's done. Now they'll never see you the same way. And they'll just move on. And it kills me to see that, and I hate that it affects you too. And it's just I'm trying to figure out a way to like give that perfect example of how you could get past it. But even myself, I deal with that, and it's annoying.
No, it's almost like you have to see it and then just be like, okay, I guess this person thinks that, and you have to like, it's almost you just have to forget about it. You know what I mean? It's really it's really hard thinking. You hate that somebody thinks something, and then their friends maybe they're talking about it and they have this image, and it's just so opposite. It's almost you have to just forget about it and know that that's not the truth. You know what I mean?
Did it change the way you look at other people? Like you don't quickly take an article or like a...
I definitely don't believe a lot of things that I see online. I try not to judge people based off like a parasocial relationship. I don't know them. They don't know me. Even if I'm acquainted with someone, I don't really know them, right? So I can see something and be like, well, whatever. If it's like something horrific and there's proof and evidence and someone's done something horrible, I'm probably going to be a little judgmental of that. But I know for one thing, like I would be so like I can be very sarcastic. I'm not always the most bubbly, like fake nice kind of person all the time. And I feel like a lot of times those people are overcompensating for the fact that they aren't actually that nice of people.
Yeah, I know.
But sometimes I feel like my worst fear is that I'll come off to someone as like a bitch because I don't have that kind of personality all the time, or like I'll have a really bad day and maybe I'll run into someone and I'm not like at my best and I'm not at my most happy, and I might seem like I'm being mean when really I'm just dealing with stuff internally. So my worst fear is that someone will think that I'm like a mean girl or a mean person, or that I would bully someone or anything like that. And like, I don't know, I've just gone through so much in my life that especially as far as like bullying and that kind of stuff, I just would hate for anyone to feel like I am the kind of person to do that to someone. So I worry about that a lot. But the thing about it is you can never, like everyone's going to perceive you from their own way. Like everyone sees the world from their own perspective, through their own lens, from their own personal experiences, what they've been through. They're jaded in their own ways that are completely different from the ways that you are. And it's not your fault if someone, like, as long as you are being a good person and you follow your values and you do what you know is right, there's nothing you can do if someone thinks something else about you. Like, there's just literally nothing you can do. I wish so badly that I could go up to every single person in the world and just like explain my story and like just like somehow like telepathically
you're like,
just
know
show
my
them
heart,
who
like,
I
know
am.
me.
Yeah, like this is who I am.
Social media has helped a lot. I mean, think about if you didn't have an outlet to like post and like these stories of them seeing your personality, like even you putting a cup on your head and balancing it, like they see that you have like this kid-like mentality. And so it does help.
But it also can make things worse because then people assume they know you because they know this person that you portrayed online, and that's only 0.00001%. Even someone like me who overshares a lot of things, like I post, I sing and write about how I'm feeling all the time. I go on podcasts and I talk about my life. Like, I want people to know who I am and about my life, but it still can be interpreted however people want to interpret it, because they're still seeing me through their lens. People can decide they already hate you. You could say the nicest thing in the world and they can be like, she's a bitch. You could say the most intelligent thing in the most articulate thing in the world and they'll be like, she's an idiot. Like, some people just have predisposed ideas about you, and then that's it, and you can't fix it.
And we were just actually talking about this, remember, with Wayne. It's not how you sometimes it's not how the person says it or what they say, it's how the other person's going to take it. And you could be saying it with the best intent possible, but if that person decides to not take it the right way and it hurts them, like, you know, their emotional intelligence gets hurt, then that's how they react. And we were just talking about like other people's reactions. You can't control that, you know?
Yeah.
Everything's about perspective. Like every single thing is about perspective. And what gives me like these moments where I'm like, I can't breathe, is knowing that I'll never be able to understand everybody's point of view. And that scares the shit out of me, because what am I coming off as? Am I coming off as like eager to please because I'm like just annoying? Or does it come off like, oh, I really love your company, I want to make sure you're comfortable and happy? Like, there's a lot of times where the person who's over talking is just trying to please the room. And so like I have so much empathy that if somebody walks in feeling uncomfortable, sad, or upset, I feel that energy. So my immediate concern is like, okay, like change it, like try to figure it out. And then I get in my own head, be like, oh, well, how do I look like right now? Do I look desperate? Do I look this? Do I look that? And so I'm always chasing a point of view. But the times that I feel like I'm at my best state of myself is when it's not that I'm in this, like, I don't give a fuck about your point of view. It's truly when I'm just focused on my own point of view.
But it is a little bit of like, I don't give a fuck about your point of view. You have to have a little bit of that, a little bit of like, I don't care if maybe you took what I said differently. And it is hard to not care. Yeah. Like, I care so much.
Especially if you're a good person, which both of you guys are. You both are, you know, very empathetic, and like you said, you feel people's emotions when they walk into a room, and that's affecting you. You want to make other people feel better. But there's a certain point where it's like you kind of can't. Like, it's you do as much as you can, and then whatever. And if someone's perceiving you as like, oh, he's trying too hard to like make me feel like that, you can't worry about. You do your best to make everyone feel good, and then you let it be. If they still don't feel good, then what? That's obviously their internal thing. Do you have anxiety really bad or something? Because I have OCD and I feel like that all the time.
So dude, I'm right down in it. So yes, I do, but I'm very, very, very good at controlling it. My spirituality's helped me a lot. Yeah. Meditating's helped me a lot.
I was gonna ask if you meditate. Yeah.
Meditating helps a lot. To be honest, the reason I got into smoking weed was to help me out with that. I do regret it.
Weed gives me anxiety.
Weed is like, it's a fucking bitch of a relationship, dude. Like, it's like all these people are like, first of all, I hate everybody who told me that marijuana isn't addicting. You're liars. All of you guys totally are. It's so addicting.
It's a habit.
And then it's like there's no limit, right? So like one time you could take 2 puffs and be like, I'm flying, this is perfect. And then you take 3 and you're like, my mom hates me, I should have never been born. Like,
literally, you know, that's like, how. It's such a like delicate dance that you have to like figure out. Yeah, oh my god, one hit too many, and I'm like, I need to go home. Everyone hates me. Everyone here thinks I'm weird. They can hear me breathing. They can hear my weird thoughts. I'm gonna die. Yeah,
bro. Dude, when I was in this thing called resource class. I don't know if anybody ever like heard of that. If you were kind of stupid in school, you probably heard of it, because that's just you're me. And I was in class, and we have like student aid. So we have like teachers and students helping you read. And I didn't know I was dyslexic. So like they're helping me read, and I remember this certain situation because, dude, I was sweating. When I was in the 2nd grade or 1st grade, I truly thought people could hear my thoughts. And so if I said anything mean about anybody in my head, I would out loud be like, I'm just kidding. I would never feel that way. And then I would like say nice things about them in my head. And then I wouldn't be paying attention to class. So I would fail because I was being nice to people in my head.
Yeah, you have severe anxiety. Do you know if you have OCD? Have you ever been?
Terrible OCD.
Okay, yeah. But the intrusive thoughts too are like so crazy. Like I'll be driving and I'll just like have a thought of like, I'm just gonna drive off the road. Like, it's not my actual thought, but like
you guys,
your brain
I
just
think that too. Like, I think it's like a normal thing, but we just don't talk about it. Because I have like some, you know, you have the really dark thought, and you're like, why would I want that to happen? I don't want that to happen.
I have horrifying ones. Like, I can't even talk about it. Like, I will sit, like, I will be like with an old person and be like, what like like someone
I would love
like
to know where that one was going.
no, like someone that I just like really do not would not ever like have sex with, and I'll be like, oh my god, like ew, like this
What
person
if?
has sex, like what if we had sex right now? Like I don't, it's not me. It is you guys. I swear, if you have OCD, you get it. It's
No,
not.
but that's the realest
Are you
thing.
sure you were just aroused by this old man?
No, because the way that you know it's an intrusive thought is because you're like, ew,
like,
no,
yeah.
stop. And then you can't get it out of your head because you're like, oh, I thought about that. Oh my God, ew, I want to throw up.
And then you
like,
sit there
and then I
thinking
sit
about
there
it.
thinking about it, and I can't focus on what's happening because I'm like, ugh. Why did my brain just, like, that was not me. That was
Yeah.
a thought that just came there. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
do you ever be like, I want to tell a friend, but then you're like, no, then they're going to live it with me and then talk about it?
No, I would never tell my friends.
No, because it's don't you have so many of those random thoughts like along the day? You just like think about all these random things, or like you see something and you know that some terrible people do things like that, and you're like, what if they did? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're like, what if this happened?
Yeah, but they're either like minor or they're like really just like debilitatingly horrifying. And I remember one time I asked Kelsey, I was in the car with Kelsey, and I was like, hey, do you ever like have random thoughts where you're just like you're standing on like a ledge, like looking at a view or something, and you just like imagine yourself like throwing your phone off?
Yeah. You're like,
And,
what if I dropped this?
like, and you're just like in your head, and she was like, no, and I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I should get checked out.
Yeah, you need a therapist and you need an exorcism, dude.
No, I think
I swear it's a symptom of OCD. I have a whole TikTok community where I watch videos about it so I don't feel alone.
it's like, well, yeah, when you see those funny videos of somebody doing something crazy and people comment, they let their intrusive thought win.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you know,
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Mine will never win. I will push those down. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're not me. It's not me. Like I
Exactly.
stuff that I would never, ever.
They're demons.
Ever,
Yeah.
They're literally demons.
They're demons.
They're
You know what?
demons.
And I gotta
I
admit,
got
these demons have a sense of humor, bro, because the way they come about it is like, you know what they are? They're TikTok comments. Have you ever read TikTok comments? They're the meanest comments.
Unfortunately, yeah.
They're the meanest comments, but they're the funniest
They're
comments.
super funny.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
They
Sometimes I won't laugh at the video, but then I'll just go to the
Me too,
comments
me
and
too.
I'll just cry. What are you thinking about? Which one are you?
I just, because every time I watch a funny video and then, you know, you go to the comments and the top comment is something that's just like,
It's always
you're
crazy.
like, damn.
Yeah.
You're like, how could you say that, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, are you scared of AI? Of like taking over like you singing and writing? Because like, dude, these Drake AI songs are bops, bro. Like I don't get me wrong, as an artist, shame on them. But as a consumer, wow, my gym sessions have been fire lately.
Oh my God, Georgie.
I mean, yeah, but
I
like,
love you so much.
I think it's just like something that's fun. It's not like are there ones that actually writing new Drake songs? No, it's just like
You
covers,
haven't
right?
heard?
You haven't heard these Drake bops?
No.
I
Which would be-
came in with my ex like Selena, the flex. Bumping Justin Bieber, the fever. Like, these are like hard bars. And I'm like, yeah. And then the weekend singing about it. I'm like, he dated Selena. This is vile. Like, I was just in it like this. I see as an artist, you're upset about this.
No, I mean, like, I'm not.
I'm so sorry.
Drake has enough money, so it's fine. And like, I also think that there's like with being a rapper, like it's kind of easier for AI to do that. But I think with like when I'm like singing, especially the kind of music that
They
I
made
make
Michael
now,
Jackson
They
songs.
literally will imitate. You will never know if it's you or not. It's scary.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
I feel like I opened.
I
a
don't think
Pandora
there's
box.
I don't think there's enough audio of me actually singing well to my full capacity, because I just started doing that recently. Like my last song I just put out is the first time I've ever actually sang like using my full actual voice, so it wouldn't sound good. It would be like my old shitty voice when I used to sing bad. So maybe after my next album comes out, then there will be enough content for the AI to make
Can't get me yet.
singing well.
Would it bother you, or would you be like, yeah, I don't care?
I mean, like, if people want to listen to that, that's fine. But like, what's the point?
So, okay, so
In a Drake song, I get it. It's like, okay, this is fun. But like, most of my
because
fans,
it's not you. You're like, yeah, Drake's fine.
No, but most of my,
He's made millions. It's okay.
but also most of my fans, like it's like they want to hear like a sad song or like an angry song about being cheated on or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Like, it's the emotion of it. Like,
You gotta hear
like
these
me
songs,
listening
bro.
to Phoebe Bridgers. Like, I wouldn't want to like.
Do they have Amy Winehouse songs that are like insanely like?
But
her?
it's not Amy. If she
It's
didn't
Amy's
write
bot.
it, But if she didn't write it and it didn't come from her soul, then I don't care. Amy Winehouse is my favorite artist. I have a tattoo of her on my arm.
So does that bother you that they have like Amy Winehouse songs that are like coming out? They're like making her sing like Michael Jackson songs and stuff.
I mean, if it's like making her sing covers.
And I think like originals now, I'm not sure. But
if they're making original stuff, that does bother me because she is dead. And like maybe don't do that. But I just think that if a song isn't coming, if a song is like an emotional thing, it should come from the artist or the writer or whatever. I wouldn't feel a personal connection to that, I don't think.
I get what you're saying. It's like when you love an artist and when they drop a new song, you're like, oh, I can't wait to hear them talk about like whether this was about the relationship that they were just in or because you like have that connection with that
like
artist.
Justin Bieber, maybe?
No, but you want to know.
Selena Gomez in The Weeknd.
But
maybe?
no, Georgie.
It's not about that. It's not about
you
that.
want to know their real thoughts, like from them personally.
Like
Fuck their real
like
thoughts. I'm trying to hear that
SZA.
song as a bop, bro. Dude, I'm telling you, this shit hits. And I was scared about it because I was listening to it. But anyways, the reason I brought it up is because yesterday I was smoking and I had an epiphany, bro. Because I was really, really scared about the AIs taking over. Like super concerned. Not for me, because it's gonna fail regardless for me. But it's just for like normal humanity of like McDonald's, right? Like it's just robots now, right?
Yeah.
And like all these people like Amazon, like there's videos of them crying outside of their warehouse because they have no more jobs. And like they're getting fired. So I was really scared about that. But then I just thought about this. It would just take America one law to be like, you have to incorporate a human being with the AI that you're using.
Yeah.
So then it eliminated my fears.
Well, it's like anything, you know, they're gonna make boundaries about it. I feel like a lot of the new things that come out, they kind of let them come out and people use them, and then they're like, okay, we have to like make laws and we have to make boundaries with this.
Yeah, I think it would work. But not to like scare anybody, but like it was just somebody said that there's an AI in the dark web. And that I don't love that.
Of course there is.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't even know. Have you ever been to the dark web?
No, I'm not trying to go to prison.
What?
Is
kind
it
of question?
Wait, is it illegal to like visit it?
Yeah, you have to have like a VPN on to.
How do you even get to the dark? That's a whole thing.
I don't know. Whoa, hold on. I didn't say I was on it. I was just wondering.
You definitely.
I've never been on the dark web. Okay. I've never been on the dark web.
Sure.
One time I needed a spleen. But besides that.
But actually, I had a question speaking about real thoughts and like your real words that are coming from the artist, you know? Do you ever, because I know that you get pretty like vulnerable when you write music and you put out songs, and then people might be able to kind of like, you know, line up the dots about like who it may be about and things like that. Like, does that stress you out when you want to put your feelings into a song, but then you know that the person's going to hear it and know it's about them?
Yes and no, because by the time the songs come out, usually like things are so over between me and the person.
Okay.
Like my whole first album, like my first full length project, I think I released it in like 2019. It was all about the same guy, and like pretty much every single song. We were not talking at that point.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually kind of friends with him again. He like moved away and dropped off the face of the earth, like actually.
Was it because of your music?
Yeah.
Was it?
No.
Oh, I was like, Jesus Christ.
No.
She's all moved on. Yeah, I forgot about it.
No. I mean, we actually, we like, yeah, we were fine afterwards, but it's not like I said anything that I hadn't really told him or that he didn't already know. Like, he knew I was like in love with him, and he knew.
Do you call them and give them a heads up, or do you like?
It depends. Like, it depends on the person.
That's so much power.
Yeah.
That's so much
power. It is, but also I've found that because of the type of people that I date and like, they are not usually too affected by my words, even if I'm saying something really mean, because a lot of them may be, you know, like a narcissist or something along those lines.
Do you chase these type of men because you know that you could write music off of them?
I do think that's a part of it. I used to like say like, oh, I'm a martyr. Like, I'm doing it for my girls that need these songs, like they can't put it into words, so like I'll just go through the experiences for them so that I can, because I know I can put it into the words.
That's crazy. You went from martyr to murderer. You just kill the men on a track. Dude, have the whole song just like the whole crowd is singing back. Have you ever
You're
dated?
Gonna die when you hear my next song.
Oh no.
I'll play it for you after this.
Can we play it on here or no?
No, it's not like we're working on changing some words, but
We're working on changing his name.
names.
no,
We gotta legally
there's
change
no
his name.
name in it, but it's really funny.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Me neither. Ooh, we're gonna get a little.
I know.
exclusive beat.
Spicy.
Babe, you can't do that.
Why not?
It's way too white. Okay, let's jump back into music. Now you're clear. You are now not with a label. Do you ever see yourself going back to a label?
I think absolutely. I signed when I was 16, and I had one song out. It was "I Hate You, I Love You." It was like a massive hit randomly out of nowhere. I was literally just in high school. I'd never been in a recording studio. I'd never written a song with anyone else ever. And suddenly I was in LA every weekend doing meetings, and I got a manager and a label and a publisher and a lawyer and everything, and it all just happened at once. I'd never been in a freaking writing session, not once.
The story to this is actually pretty cool. Can we open up that? I
Yeah.
remember you flew to LA, 16, yeah, and you worked with this gentleman in a garage. It wasn't even like a full blown recording studio.
Yeah, he had a little studio set up in his garage, in the back of his. It was like a detached garage in his parents' backyard, and I already had the song fully written and like everything, and he heard it, or I sent it to him, and he was like, "I want to produce it for you. Come to LA." And I went there and walked up to the door and like didn't want to go. I started crying, and my dad was like, "It's okay, you can go." Ended up being fine. Obviously, we recorded the song, and then he sent it back to me with a verse on it that he wrote, which I didn't even know was going to happen at the time. I thought he was just going to produce it for me. Then we put it out as his song featuring me, and then it just randomly blew up. It blew up. It's kind
Was
of
he a big artist already?
No.
Yeah.
He had like he knew
How
a
did
lot
you become a feature on your song?
because how I found him was he was opening up for Black Bear and Mod Sun on tour, and I was like a big fan of them at the time. So I was looking up who was opening, and I found his song. He had one song out on the time. It was like back when SoundCloud was like, if you were cool, you only listen to music on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So he had like one song out on SoundCloud, and I did a cover of it, and I was like, I guess the first person to ever cover one of his songs. So he reached out to me on Twitter and was like, "Hey, you should come to the show in San Francisco, and blah 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 blah. Do you have any original music?" And I sent him "I Hate You, I Love You." Then that's when I went to LA and did all of that stuff, and it ended up being his song, featuring me, because I had 250 followers on SoundCloud and he had like 2,500 or something, you know, like, and he lived in LA. He was friends with a bunch of YouTubers. He had just done a tour with like artists that were pretty, like,
It's just a
renowned.
good business move.
It seemed like it at the time. Yeah. I mean, I have 50% publishing, so I can't complain.
Regardless of where, like, whose song or how it is, that was the door that opened up for you, for like all of the blessings that come to roll out after.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful for it, because I didn't know what my direction was as an artist. I'd only ever made songs with just like a couple chords on guitar, a couple chords on piano. I wasn't a great player of either, but I could get by. And yeah, I didn't know what kind of sound I wanted. So not having it be my first like debut kind of took a little bit of pressure off of me. Like I could just kind of figure my stuff out and not have to
Stress.
like immediately have a big follow-up thing. So I was grateful for that. But yeah, I signed to my label at 16 with no experience, nothing. Started going to writing sessions. I didn't know how they worked. I would walk in and be like, "I already have the song written." And they were like, "Okay," like, with a producer, and like they would try to like build a track around it, and then I would just sing it and leave. Like I didn't know how to collaborate at all. People probably thought I was not probably. A lot of people were like, something's wrong with that girl. Like, she's a bitch. Like, why doesn't she want to work with us? And I'm like, I don't know how this works. No one told me how this works.
Yeah.
Point of view, a perspective.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I
Okay.
was also really depressed and like not okay, and I had no idea what was going on. So I would sit in the corner and be like, I have the song done, and then I would like go and like record it. And like listening back to like vocals I did at the time, I'm like, why did no one tell me to like sing this differently?
Probably
And
scared the fuck out of me, bro.
I was just, I don't know. It was a whole thing. It takes years to figure out, and everyone does write differently, and every session is going to be different, and you have to adapt. But I had literally no clue what was going on. I had no idea. No one tells you like you're going to go into a session and you have to be collaborative and you have to do this. Like, no, they just put you in a room with people, and you have to meet them, tell them what you want to write about, and your deepest, darkest secrets, and like figure out like
At least you
it's
came
crazy.
prepared. You know?
Yeah, it's like
So we got your list. We can't write about it.
no, it's
It's
crazy.
illegal.
Your intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive
Your
thoughts.
intrusive
Okay,
thoughts
Will not be
are
written about.
those do not get written down.
Is there any song that you okay? For example, there's a lot of artists that have hit songs that blew up that they didn't even want to go out. Was there a song that did really well for you that you didn't expect to do well? That you were like, oh, I just made that for no reason, like, or just to try it, or was there a song?
No,
that,
because when you're signed to a major label, if there's a song that they don't think is gonna do well, they won't put it out, like, because they're paying for it. Like, they're not gonna waste their money.
was there a song that you had to fight them on? Like, hey guys,
Jocelyn,
shut up.
not on putting it out. We were gonna put it out, but they thought so. That was when I was doing my micro mixtapes, so it was like 2 or 3 songs on a little mini project. So that was number 2, and they thought that the single was going to be the song called "Was It All in My Head," and we made a music video for it. I hated the music video so much I scrapped it.
Oh, so
And
it's not out yet.
It's
Or it's never
never
coming
coming out now. And then Jocelyn, we put out the project immediately. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Jocelyn's so good, Jocelyn's so good." And I told them, I was like, I think Jocelyn's going to be the song that does well. And lo and behold,
You were right.
I was right.
Low 5.
No, it's nice. It's nice being independent because I don't have to worry about that. And I can, if I have faith in something, I can kind of just do it myself. The only thing that sucks is like there is a little bit of politics within the music industry. Being signed to a major label, you have access to things you just don't have as an independent artist. You can do kind of like an in-between deal with something like there's a company called AWOL, which is probably the most popular one that people use, where you do like kind of a distribution deal. So you get you would do like a 70-30 split instead of like a they take all your money split.
Yeah.
And you get like a little bit of a budget for certain things and whatever, but you don't get the whole like spiel, the whole like giant machine when you're with a major.
I remember when I first came here, it was for music, and just listening to how these artists are talked to and like pushed on when it comes to projects. It's no longer passion. It's very much business. It is very much business. And did that ever like eat your soul up?
I mean, the music industry with a lot of things has changed so much with the times and with the internet, especially. Like,
It's
I think
helped.
we all remember when, like people stopped buying CDs and everyone went to iTunes, and then there was like the whole like LimeWire and like illegally downloading things. And then there was streaming, and now streaming doesn't pay the writers well enough. And then like radio is kind of dying, but it's still really important to have the songs on the charts. And there's a whole weird thing. And the problem is that nobody at these labels, none of these music executives, they could think that they have the next big artist and it could completely flop. Like, they don't know what's going to happen next. They can't tell. They think they do, but they genuinely can't. Even TikTok, which is a relatively new way of like getting music out there that has completely changed the industry. In like 2020, you could pay Addison Rae and Charli D'Amelio to make a video of your song. Instantly it would go viral. Like, that was it. That was all it took. So if you had the money back behind you, if you had a major label that would be able to pay their rates, instantly, like, as long as the song was like, not awful, it would
Does that
go
not
viral.
go crazy for the artist? That like, I'm imagining somebody like you from a different state producing music, and you come to these meetings where you think, it's a billboard, or they introduce you to J-Lo, but now they're like, hey, there's a guy on TikTok that goes like this.
Well,
We're
it's
gonna have to-
marketing. It's
Yeah,
just marketing.
But like in their mind, they're like, what the fuck? Like, this is very weird. Times turn quicker now. Like, what is good last year is no longer good now. And that's very new for the industry, because usually industry goes with at least a decade. Like a decade, it would be, this is how things go. Like, I don't know if you were here like 10 years ago. If you even had a social media presence, people did not want to associate with you. They thought it was very cheesy and weird. And now you can't book a role or even promote music without a social media presence.
But even the way that like social media is used to market music is different from 3 years ago. Like, you can't do that anymore. You can't just pay like a top influencer to use your song. That's not going to work.
It's oversaturated.
The market's oversaturated, and also people don't do the little this thing now. That's not good anymore. The little dances, like
there's no more really dances anymore. Yeah.
I mean, like a little bit, but it's like rare, and it's
Not as
more
much.
like the one I'm thinking of right now that's working is like Doechii, like what it is, ho, what's up, I mean, like that song, you know that song?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a
Wasn't-
dance for
wasn't
that.
that already a song though?
It's a
remake.
interpolation, but it's this girl Doechii. But that song, that dance is like going kind of big right now. But it's not the same thing. It's not like the like
Yeah. It's different.
like
now, yeah.
it's different. And the way that the influencers like we still have these mega famous like TikToker people, but they've also branched into other things. Like
Yeah.
Charlie's doing other things, Addison's doing other things. They're all doing different things. It's not the same. Like everyone was we thought we had it figured out in 2020. There was like, okay, there is a mathematical like equation to like make a song pop off, or at least help it.
Yeah.
Now nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Before I left my label, all I was told was just make TikToks. That's how you promote your music. Make TikToks. And I'm like, why are you guys making all of my money? And you're supposed to be paying for like the marketing and all this stuff. I'm doing all my marketing. I'm doing everything, and I don't get to control. I had this song called "What Are We" that I wrote in 2019, and it was supposed to be like the next song that I was putting out was going to be huge, and everyone loved it, and blah 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 blah. And we had like one of the biggest writers in the industry on it, and the biggest producers in the industry on it. Then the president of my label leaves, and then like all this stuff happens, and then it's shelved for so long. And it took 3 years for it to come out because we've had 4 different presidents since I was at my label, since I was 16. My A&R got fired, and then the president at the time, basically I was signed to this one president and one A&R, and like when you get signed to certain people, they're the ones, they're your champions at the label, so they're excited to have you. They're like, we want you, we're gonna do this for you. Your A&R is your point person. They like put you in sessions and just make sure, like, just get you in the right rooms, get you in the right places. They're your biggest fan, your biggest supporter. And then, you know, you obviously want the president to like you too, because at the end of the day they have a lot of say. There's also like general manager and like product manager and all these titles, all these people.
There's a lot of people to go.
A lot of people, and every single person that I had signed with that was there when I signed was gone within like a year. And
so they have to shift you to a table where they already have enough artists, so they can't even get to you in time because they have to take care of their artists. Is that how it's working?
well, no. So I had, you know, the people that I was like, okay, great. Like they're really excited about me. Like we're going to do this. Then the president leaves. And then, so I still have my A&R. We get a new president. I was really excited about him. And I was in the middle of working on my first album. So I basically kind of finished the album and I presented it to the label. And I was like, here you go. Like, this is it. We put it out. Immediately afterwards, he fires my A&R. And then he was like, oh, great. Okay, now we can actually work on developing you as an artist. Like, now we've just like kind of put that out and we can just whatever. Now we can actually really work on developing your sound. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I just really wanted to like finish up whatever you were doing with her because I wanted to fire her and then we could like move on. And I'm like, so you didn't want to like tell me anything? You didn't want to like give me any advice? You just wanted me to put out what I had and be done with it and then move on later? Then he leaves the label. We don't have a president for like 8 months, I want to say. I could be wrong on that timeline, but long period of time. It might have even been longer than that. So like we had like an acting president, but like he was just kind of trying to take over while we were waiting for the new presidents to come. They were in contract with another label until the top of that next year, January 1st, so that they could come in. So
how are you not scared about going to another label then?
Well, I am. That's why I'm independent right now. And yeah, so I have a new A&R. I had already gone through 2 presidents. I'm about to get 2 new presidents that are going to be like co-presidents. And then during that time when we didn't have a president, like, I mean, this happens all the time with labels, but nobody knows how to budget anything correctly. I feel like we'll always spend money on like the wrong things, like spending a crazy amount of money on like if I don't get crazy music video budgets. When I was with my label, I didn't get crazy music video budgets by any means. I would have to like fight for enough money, but then they would spend it wrong. It'd be like, well, we need to get the best producer for this or the best director for this or whatever. And then it would end up like just not being good. And I'm like, I know we could have made something better for $30,000 or however much.
Oh,
the
I'm
budget
sorry.
was.
What, 30,000?
Like that's like a low end music video.
30,000 for a label is low.
Yeah, but if you're not with a label and you work with the right people, you can make something insane
so much,
for 30K.
yeah.
So
Insane.
I wrote a lot of treatments for artists in the music video. For music videos. I'm not gonna sit here and list the artists because it's pointless, not my industry. But I made really, really, really good relationships with people that produce music videos. And Stanaj, one of my good friends, he had literally he goes, "Hey dude, I'm doing this by myself. It's like for $5K." And that whole thing looked like it was $200,000. Like if you watch it, you'd be blown away. I would love to connect you with them because they love working with artists that are by themselves. And they're like really good. I'll show you some stuff. You would really be blown away. I think you need to stick to yourself for a bit because you have so much more than an artist nowadays have. I feel like you're like the Conor McGregor of the UFC, right? You have the whole package of you could perform it and you could
analogy.
What? That was a good analogy.
No,
right?
yeah, it was just funny you compared to fighting.
Okay, well, you're the
It was a good example. It was just cute. We were laughing.
yeah, okay. Well, basically I see it that way and I really want to see you shine on your own because dude, all those hurdles, man, that's a lot of fucking also and for those of you guys that are not doing this as work, I couldn't imagine how uninspired I would be to work on stuff if every 2 seconds you would work for one straight week for hours and hours a day. And then they'll be like, okay, now we can just move on and do that. You're like, bro, that's soul crushing. That's not even. So I'm really sorry you had to deal with that.
And
but
by the end of it,
I'm very excited about your success. I'm sorry.
it's okay. But, thank you. No, by the end of it, it was so. I just felt like every time there was a change in personnel and whoever was working there, every time there was a change, it just felt so defeating because I had to meet someone else and explain my whole personality to them and my whole thing and whatever it was. And then by the time it's supposed to come out, I'm already on to something else. And that stuff never got to come out because the people that were excited about it, they're gone. And then we just spent my whole budget on something that we should have doled out completely differently. And we did I just feel like I made every wrong decision. Can't speak English. I feel like I made every single wrong decision that I possibly could have, but it's not even my fault also. It's just maybe I picked the wrong label. So yeah. And I know a lot of people have problems, the same problems that I do at other labels. So it's not mine in general. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. It's not all, but yeah, it's just so lost right now. And if I'm going to have to be doing it all on my own anyway, then I might as well make my streaming money and do it myself. And I can do it myself. And I've been working with this producer who's pretty much doing my whole next project. There's a couple songs that I think might be with other producers, but we're in every single day. It's all organic instruments. He used to be a drummer in a punk band. So he's an incredible drummer. And he's also, he plays everything. But we have all real organic instrumentation on everything. We're doing these crazy big pop hooks. It was so funny because the other day he was like, AI could never do this. We're doing
think again, my friend. I was kidding.
No, when you actually hear the sound of recorded real actual drums and all the things that he does to it's you can't fucking replicate that shit.
Right.
It's so good. And that's what I've always really wanted to do. I feel like I finally kind of found my sound, which I also say that every time that I'm excited about something. I'm I finally found my sound. But I actually did because he makes me sing like I've never sang before, and it's just so rewarding. And he told me that I was the best female vocalist he's ever worked with. And I used to think I was horrific at singing. Because my sister was really, really good, and she was a soprano, and she would come in my room and tell me I was bad. Now she just tells me it's because she wanted me to stop singing because she wanted to do her homework. But and I was also bullied and whatever. Yeah. So I was afraid to use my voice, so I would sing really softly. The other day I was just curious, and I listened to I Hate You, I Love You, and then listened to my new song Born with a Broken Heart back to back, and I was like, holy shit, I can sing. And I didn't know because I was so scared to belt. I was so scared to do all these things because I thought that I would have a voice crack, which, by the way, who cares if you have a voice crack? Hit the fucking notes. Who cares? Mm-hmm. And I started recently, a couple weeks ago, going to vocal lessons and stuff just because I want to
be able to. Oh, you just started doing vocal lessons?
Whoa. I mean, I've done a few here and there throughout my career and stuff, but I just started regularly going because I'm like, I want to be able to belt and sing to my full potential forever because I love this and this is how I'm supposed to be sounding. Like my inspiration for everything right now is like 2008 to 2010 like Katy Perry stuff, so like real pop shit, but like with a little bit of like almost a rock kind of influence, not like the pop punky shit, but it's it's really dope.
That's amazing.
What do you think Olivia Rodrigo? She does the whole pop rock thing,
pop punky thing.
Are you a fan of her music?
Yeah, I was started saying this earlier, but I don't really listen to pop music. Like it's not like something I put on in my car. Like when her songs come on, I'm like, I know the words because I heard them like on the radio and everywhere. Like I'll sing along and I love them, but it's not something that I put on in my, like when I'm by myself. I don't listen to pop music or anyone comparable to me because I would either compare myself to them or think that I would have written something differently. I overanalyze it. I'm like, oh, that this is like, I would have chosen a different drum for this, or I would have done this differently. I would have done a different pre-melody. Like I'm so over analytical about it. So I like can't listen to pop music for leisure.
What do you listen to?
Like honestly all older music for the most part, or just like indie music that I just know I could never make. Or when I was first starting out, I only listened to R&B, so like a lot of my earlier stuff, it has a little bit more R&B influence.
That's all I listen to is R&B.
Yeah.
Like Mario 90s style?
A little bit. It was more like,
or like Boys to Men, like
no, more like I don't know. I guess
Kehlani.
Kehlani was like what I grew up because I'm from the Bay Area, so like Kehlani, since she was like a little SoundCloud, like everyone I found on SoundCloud.
Wait, she was from SoundCloud?
I mean, that's how I found her.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
she
like
loves Kehlani.
Way back, like 2014. Yeah, Cloud 19, all that stuff. Kehlani was probably the first like real. I was like, damn, I was obsessed with her for a long time. Yeah, Kehlani, and then like later on, like Summer Walker and
her
that kind of stuff.
Her album where she remixed or remade, I don't know what the verbiage is for it, but like these old classic songs.
Yeah. So it's either a sample or an interpolation. Usually,
I think it was the one with the Usher one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that one was fucking fire. I couldn't believe it. You know what?
She's amazing.
I don't know if she wrote it with this purpose, but it felt like it was the girl's point of view from the song. And I was like, damn, 10 years later, it was like a good like little comeback. Because a lot of people would bring songs from back in the day. Like The Weeknd did it with Mario's song. I Don't Want to Know, that song.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, this was so, and that was scary because that was a huge hit song.
Yeah.
So when I heard that he was gonna remake it, I was like, fuck, they're gonna butcher this shit. And lo and behold, bro, I like was bopping that. It was a really good remake.
Yeah, people are really, really into the whole nostalgia thing right now, and because it's like you kind of know that it's gonna work to some degree. Like,
yeah, it's safe. You know, it's good.
It's already worked for somebody. So it's just a safer bet to do that because people immediately like recognize it. Even if you mix it up and do something, add some kind of different vibe to it. It's the familiarity that really lands with people. So there's a higher chance that it will do something. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people are doing that stuff right now.
Put it up here.
You know what song I work out to all the time and I jam to?
I know exactly what you're going to say because I do too. It's on my playlist.
The song you made with Gryffin?
Oh, yeah.
That shit's fire,
That's
bro.
such a good song.
Thank you.
That's really, and you know what? Nothing gets me excited. I always send you videos of it when I'm like at a restaurant or like I'm shopping and I hear you. I'm like, that's my friend. Like I tap people, like that's my friend. I like that. She wrote that song.
How'd you make that song?
I just got hit up by Gryffin about it, and then I recorded it, and yeah, it was like a pretty simple situation, and then it was really fun because I got to play Bonnaroo with him, or I went out. He played Bonnaroo, and I went out to do the song.
Oh, yeah.
That was really fun.
What's Bonnaroo?
It's a really big festival outside of Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, really fun. And he was headlining, so it was like, good crowd.
We actually have him scheduled for the podcast, too.
Yeah,
Very excited. I saw him on there, and I was like, why is Olivia not on? We have to immediately hit you up. Like, you have to be on the show.
Yeah.
So, okay, question for you. When I look at art nowadays in any form, when it comes to like movies, TV shows, and music, I feel like now because of the way the culture is like so sensitive and they always want to push a narrative, did you find that to be a really hard obstacle, if it was an obstacle for you in the label industry? Because remember, that's a business aspect. So was there a lot of stuff that they brought to you that was pushing a narrative or trying to push you away from a narrative that was close to your heart?
I think most artists can agree that like if you come to a label with an album full of ballads and really personal, heartfelt, slow, sad piano like kind of songs, they're not going to be that happy because that's not the kind of stuff that you hear on the radio. But like my first song, my first big hit was just 4 chords, piano, like very simple. So I kind of don't believe that we have to have the formulaic like pop music, which although I'm making that now because it's really fun to make it. So I personally felt a lot of pressure to make these, you know, they always say up tempo, we want up tempo. Like they would tell the producers beforehand, like, oh, we want up tempo, make sure she makes up tempo, make sure she doesn't swear in the chorus. That was my big thing when I first started out. It was like, make sure she doesn't say fuck in the chorus. And then that's when I have a song called Fuck Feelings. And I remember like, that was what like the producer was like, yeah, so the notes were like, don't say fuck in the chorus. And I was like, okay, cool, we're writing a song, it's called Fuck Feelings, and it's like I say it like 40 times and I send it to them. So I
Was that like a petty shot, or were you like genuinely like you like that song?
I mean the song's great. It's one of, you know, people, it's like it has, I don't know, like probably like 20 million streams, something like that. I don't know.
No, just 20 million.
I don't know, I haven't looked, it's old, so I haven't looked in a while. But yeah, I just don't follow the rules. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, there was a pressure, whether it was coming from my label or from what I thought my label wanted. That's the question. I don't know, because I think I would do stuff even without them telling me, even if it wasn't like an email saying don't do this and we need an up-tempo song and whatever. Even if I went into it with no guidance from them, I still just knew in my heart that that's what they wanted, and that if I made a super pop sounding song that they'd be really excited about it.
Yeah.
And that if I sent them a song that was like a from the heart ballady type thing, that they would be like, cool, nice. Yeah. But now you see all of these songs blowing up that are like really emotional and slower and all that stuff. And that's really inspiring to me, because I feel like people are shifting away from just like the typical way that pop music has always been. But also, it's always going to be, there's always going to be that need for...
We got to get a new dog.
Please. Yeah. You want to tell a story, but then you also want to be fun. And
yeah.
You know.
And I think you can do both. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is like have really fun songs that still have lyrics that mean something, and then also throw in some sad, deeper, like my emo girl shit and into the mix.
Have a balance.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of doing whatever I want, and I feel really free to do that. The only person that I have to really listen to is my producer.
No, but I think that's really good, because I think the best art and the best music is made when you're just authentically being yourself. And I think the people who love you because you have like, you're very like on your socials, you know, you can tell like your fun personality, you share like who you are, and people get attached to that. So the more real you are with your music, I think the more the people will love it, right?
Do you have any poetry that you would like feel comfortable reading?
Oh my God, my poetry is like so sad. So a lot of times I'll go into a session and then like, so I just have everything in my iPhone notes basically.
Yes. Dude, we had one from Andy Grammer, and that shit blew up, and I was so excited that blew up because it was so beautiful.
It was
so beautiful. That's why I was like, yo,
I have all, these are all like, these are just all.
Read one, can you, or no?
No, I can. I'm just, let me find one that like.
She's a hard flex. She goes, oh, poetry? She goes, pick one,
thoughts,
anyone.
Feelings?
So like, for example, this one, I was in a session a couple weeks ago, and I read it was me, another writer, and a producer. And I was like, all my stuff is really kind of depressing. And I read her this poem, and then she was like, okay, well, we can turn this into like something a little less depressing. So the song ended up taking on a kind of a whole new meaning. We just took like 1 or 2 lines from it. But here we go.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the kind of pretty that's a split decision, even after alterations, a couple split incisions. I'm pretty enough for you to take me home, but not enough to want me for your own. I'm the kind of pretty that you see on the street. She's the kind of pretty that you see in magazines. I'm the kind of cool girl who gets walked all over. She's the cool girl that makes you want to know her. I'm kind of funny when people laugh at me. She only has to smile once to keep everyone happy. I'm the kind of nice that keeps to myself. She's always talking to everyone else. I'm the kind of smart that turns myself insane. She's a mastermind. She turns life to a game. And she's winning.
Damn.
I love that.
Was that aimed at somebody, or is just like
How you feel?
just how you feel?
Yeah, it was definitely aimed at somebody.
Can I read you a poem that I wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, okay. I'm so excited.
I thought that was really good, and that'd be great in a song.
Thank you.
Yes.
I wrote it. I turned it into a song called The Kind of Pretty, but it's like more like, it's not as emotional as that.
Yeah.
do you write by starting out with poetry, or does it?
A lot of times it comes from that, or it'll be just like a couple stanzas, and then a lot of times we'll completely dissect it and turn it into something else. Because once you have melodies involved, and then the whole concept can change.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, you give me your honest feedback on this.
Okay.
It's called "Curiosity Killed the Cat."
Okay.
And by the way, I'm not a professional, so please don't make fun of me. Curiosity killed the cat. Like humans have greed. Religion is a trap, but you didn't hear that from me. The industry is cap, and I don't disagree. That's why it's always hats off when they're talking to me. I couldn't believe how they're selling this dream. It's giving me deja vu moments like I'm Adam and Eve. The apple is so tasty until it reaches your spleen, and a movie star is worshipped until he exits his scene. Relationships are so healthy until they get in between. Damn. I guess I'll roll up my sleeve. I'll get to work quietly. Shh, you go back to sleep. I'm handing gifts out in a room full of thieves, and it's always hands out until they come back to me. But it's all good. My source lists are endless, and yours is so no good. It's like getting ribs when you're not in the hood. It's like knowing what you're doing until you open the hood. Skirt. You catch my drift? I'm baby wipe if you think you're the shit. I'm the nightlight, and you are the kid. You cannot be my idol and an idiot. That's an oxymoron. You see what I did? Before I leave you, let me leave you with this. It is the land of the free, but you can't say shit. The home of the brave became an empty crib. Why are we so damn scared to say what we meant? When did this happen? Why is everybody so offended and not understanding? Why is being a gentleman so unattractive? Why is everything they taught us not what they practice? Why? I am deeply confused.
Why? I am deeply confused.
I added that last one because I was
That
an
felt like
artist.
slam poetry. Like the way that you delivered was like absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah. When
I was so nervous when I was reading.
skirt, I was like, I that one part made me just like kind of cackle. Yeah, that was bad. But no, the skirt, I was like in the middle of like a really deep poem. I was like, okay. But no, absolutely, your face is turning bright red.
I'm so nervous.
No, it was absolutely beautiful, George.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a really good poem.
Wow, I got real hot, dude. That was
Yeah.
like real.
It's so nerve wracking, right?
You
It's
did it
'cause-
so non-pressured like, so I was like, I could do it
Well,
too.
that was like not my deepest one at all. Like I have some like fucked up ones.
Can we read some of the fucked up ones or no shot? We could cut it if
Sure.
you're like,
yeah.
oh yes.
I wish that I had them more. Like I have them not really very organized, so I just have to like look up like
Take your
keywords.
time. Go pee.
What? What if I miss it? Really? Okay. You know what? I gotta pee so bad. I'm uncomfortable.
Go. Let's see. My notes are so funny.
Do you ever get scared of like writing your feelings and then somebody coming in and being like, reading them? I don't know.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Whatever.
Do you ever paint?
I don't.
I think you should get into painting. I feel like you'd really love it.
My grandma was a doll maker, and also she's like an incredible painter. I mean, she has MS now, so she can't do it anymore, but she was like just amazing at all forms of art. She also has written like 4 novels that she never published. She's amazing. She's like the coolest woman
Did you ever
in the
read
world.
them?
Yeah, most of them were like erotic. She wrote like a sci-fi erotic one, and then a just like a erotica I guess your general run of the mill erotica. I started reading that one. It's called Early Morning Rain, and it's about like a farmhand and like a girl. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
And I and it's in like a yellow like folder, and it's like typed out on big pieces of paper. And I pull it out.
Shrink that one.
I pulled it out of the folder, and I was like, my mom's handwriting had proofread this. I was like, oh my God. So like, the family has
your
passed
mother
this
read
around.
her mother's erotica book and proofread it?
But I guess writing
What?
novels, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
What did you ever like, is that kind of weird reading your grandmother's
It
like,
was strange, but my grandma, I know all about her history. One of my uncles is only my half uncle, if you know what I'm saying. Like, she's a crazy lady.
Oh.
So I was not like,
I didn't catch that. What happened? What half uncle?
Half meaning it's not the same.
meaning my biological grandfather is not his father.
Yeah.
Like a stepdad?
Yeah, she has 2 different baby daddies.
Let's go.
But I keep my family story is crazy. I could not tell it all in the whole episode. Like insane.
We'll do a whole other episode
of my family, my family history on both sides. Insane. But anyway, my grandma is crazy, and I love her to death. But I was not fazed at all to read her erotica. I was like, yeah, this makes sense.
Bro, that's the funniest line I've ever heard in my entire. I wasn't phased to read my grandmother's erotica.
Dude,
I already knew.
Every time I go to her house, she has this room in the basement called the doll room, because she used to be a doll maker, and there's all these dolls, like all these doll heads and doll parts, because she can't do it anymore. So there's just all this doll stuff in this giant room in the basement.
Wait, what do you mean? Like she can't do it anymore? Like she can't?
She has MS, so she can't like make them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was confused with you read her erotica. You're saying now she can't do it anymore. So the dolls is like fulfilling,
No. It's a whole.
That is a point of view.
What I was saying is she is an artist in many
aspects.
many ways. Yeah, many mediums.
By the way, this whole conversation started out with one beautiful question. Do you paint?
Do you paint?
No,
Well,
but have you ever read one of my grandmother's books? Dirty little snookums. Dude, I can just picture an old woman with glasses, her hair up, like those lamps with the fire in it, and just like ching ching ching. I was in the wilderness, and the ranch hands saw me there.
No.
No. All right, okay, please read the one that you're.
Yes.
Now we're laughing. This is like really
No.
really
Get
deep.
serious. Stop.
Okay, everyone.
I am serious.
Thank you. We're serious.
I'm not. I can't be serious. Okay. Oh God, this is the one I've been trying to put into a song for a really long time, and I've used like parts of it for certain things, but I haven't fully used the whole thing because it's really long.
Before you dive in, is there like a feeling what is it about so we could understand it right away?
About why I can't accept love.
Fair enough.
I never show affection. I'm too scared you'll pull away. But if I gave you all of me, maybe you would have stayed. Too afraid to be vulnerable, I've built myself a shell. I always lead with confidence, so my facade will sell. I claim that I am heartless, that I don't want your love, but that's just to protect myself, to make you think I'm tough. Because if I say I want you, what if you don't want me back? I'm just preparing for the worst to keep my pride intact. I've been like this so long, my shell is only getting thicker. So every time my heart breaks now, it seems to heal much quicker. Every day, more and more, I'm starting to believe that all these walls I've built so strong have become a part of me. Yeah. That's
Oh.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be
you for
honest.
sharing.
That brought back memories for me. Good shit, dude. I get exactly what you mean by that. Especially when you said when my heart breaks, it heals quicker. Because like now you're just kind of like, all right, I've been here before. I know how the fuck this goes. Damn, way to go. You just got me in my feels, bro.
I'm like, it's so funny because I have all these like folders, and I'm like, I wonder what poems I have from like years ago that I just completely forgot about. Like when I go home, I'm totally gonna go through everything and find
Just read
all of these
be
things.
in your
Like,
feels.
like I have so many things.
Yo,
that
you
I
could
need to
share as
just
many as you
remember.
want, by the
No,
way.
it would take me hours. Like I'm basically in the process of writing 3 books. One is it's a novel, loosely based on like life experiences that I've had, but like with a really dark, crazy twist. And then one is an autobiography that I'm not going to release until I'm like really old on the brink of death, because like why would I release it right now? Like that I haven't done enough.
Yeah.
So, but I'm starting like literally the day I was born. And then I'm like a couple chapters into that. And then
That's great that you're starting now.
yeah,
you know?
right. So that I can be in the moment. That I don't have to like look back. So
Yeah.
I started that like a few months ago. Yeah. And then I have this book that's in my iPhone notes that I've been writing like not every day, but certain days since.
Wait, all of that category is all for one?
This is all for my book. Yeah. So
wow, good for you. You're
the first
organized.
day was March 12th, 2020. And then some of them I forgot to date, but like it's just random thoughts, essays, just paragraphs, some poems, things.
Why do you choose to write instead of voice note?
I'm a visual person randomly, even though music is music is different, I think, than like speaking and learning that way. But I'm just a writer. I just like to. And I like to edit, and I like to make sure the words are correct and that they look good on the screen. And
it makes sense that you're a visual person if you think about it, because singing is bringing the words to life. Like you are painting a visual, you know what I mean, with a song. So like that makes a lot of sense. You're like your ability to like
the music video would be a visual, but the song is not a visual.
But when you read something versus when you hear it in a song, when it's in a song, you're setting the vibe. It gives you like the mood. You can picture like colors. You can picture what's happening. Like you really paint out like a scenery.
Fair enough. I got you.
And also even just like while you're writing the words, like I'm not, I mean, I don't know. There definitely probably are writers that can do it all in their head or remember it all, but you have to write it down. And it has to look good. It has to look right. You know?
Yeah.
There's
or
like
then
a
you'll be
weird
like, it's not
aspect
good.
to it. Yeah. So I think that's probably a part of it. Like I said, I've been writing since I was a little kid. I just like looking at words and moving them around. Like I go through and I edit. Like my novels, like barely anything, but a lot of the time, when I want to work on it, I'll just go through and just re-edit all the sentences and make sure that they are perfect. Just because I like if you just switch two words, like the sentence is like infinitely better. Like I'm so nerdy about that.
Have you ever thought about writing any type of like play or like show or like movie?
Oh my God, I have so many ideas for TV shows.
Okay, would you ever want to do a writing session?
I would love like a TV show writing session.
So I sit with writers and like, so there's different writers, as you know, and we have this thing that we're building up right now, because writing a movie right now would take too long, and I want to write something that's very raw and real. And we have the production quality to shoot a very real, raw 5 to 10 minute thing where we could show the world a little deeper than this internet, like acting and like showing type of thing. I want to bring like Netflix and like these new Paramount movies kind of quality for like a 5 to 10 minute thing where when people watch it, they could feel what they would feel in a whole movie, but really quick, like 10 minutes, like a short. And I want to enter it in a competition. I want to send you some scripts that I have cool people interested in, like very excited about. But I feel like the way your brain is activated would be very different from our writing style. So it would be a really cool.
I can be like an editor kind of almost. Yeah. No, I would love to do that. I also have like full ideas for like TV shows that I want to create and stuff like that.
I would love to hear them out.
I love that. I literally will write anything. I just love writing. Even like I wrote this down the other day in one of my little sections in my notes. I wish that I could just record all of it, because sometimes I'll be driving and I'm like, oh my God, that thought was so profound, even if it's like something that turns out to be so stupid. I'm like, oh my God, that thought was insane. Like, and then my brain will go to the next thing and I'm like, oh my God, what was that thing? I forgot. I wish that I could just record all of my thoughts except for the intrusive ones all the time. Like I wish someone was just in my brain just like writing it down all the time, because I'll be like, whoa. And then sometimes I'm thinking too fast and I can't write it down because my brain is going to
That's why I said voice notes, because I do the same thing as you.
But I stumble and I wouldn't.
No. All I'm saying is spill your guts on it and then listen back, and then it'll help you remember, and then you go write it down.
I'm just imagining me in my car, like with my phone being like, and then blah, 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 but also, and like just like someone, like I can't.
Like going back to listen to it afterwards and put it down.
I would sound literally off my rocker, insane. But I'll try it.
I think we would have a great time, and also it's just fun. Like even if it was like for nothing, right? Like say we spent an hour just drinking, smoking, hanging out, like eating little fun stuff, and like just writing. It's more pleasurable to me than like I don't know, fucking doing nothing or
Yeah.
like doing
Yeah.
like pointless shit. Like I go hang out with some people nowadays and they're like, we're doing this. And I'm like, why? Like, why would you
Why
want
are
to do
you
that?
doing that?
Yeah, that just seems pointless. I don't know. I just feel like we got nothing else to do. But I would love to. Sorry, I don't know. I just got.
There's nothing more fun than being creative when you're a creative mind. I don't care what we're doing. I mean, obviously my preferred method is writing, but like I just love being creative in any way. It's like the best outlet for anything. It's a good distraction from your own mind. It's a good outlet to just let however you're feeling out, like put your feelings on pen and paper or just like draw how you feel. Like there's so many ways to just let out what's inside and also distract yourself and end up with like a cool end product, like something you could use even if it's just for yourself, like painting on a little thing and then hanging it up in your bedroom being like, oh yeah, I did that. Like
I did that.
You did?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you. No, that's what it's therapeutic.
It's so
Art is
therapeutic.
very
It's so
therapeutic,
therapeutic. I don't need to pay somebody. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you have therapy and it's working for you, like God bless, keep it going. I just feel like I'd rather put my trauma or my anger or my sadness in a positive way where when I look back at it, it's like me, I built this. This is me. This is a part of me and the time that I lived in. And I think people understand this that are not artists with tattoos, right? They'll have like a certain thing that happened in their life that is very memorable to them and they'll put a piece on their body.
Yes,
and that's what art is for us. We want to like expose that part of our heart that we might not feel comfortable talking to a family about, or even somebody that we're paying. Like I couldn't sit and express myself to somebody because in my mind it's like, where the fuck do I start? Like, where do I like even?
Yeah,
You know
I
what
mean, I think my therapist actually passed away 2 months ago.
I'm so
which
sorry.
was really
Wow.
traumatizing because finding a good therapist is really hard. And I have a psychiatrist, so like I can still get like my meds and everything. Like I'm good.
You got way too excited about that. You smiled way too
It's
hard.
not
at that.
anything crazy. I'm on a medication called Buspar, and it's like an anxiety medication. It's not like a Xanax or anything like that. But yeah, it was really crazy because not only is that traumatizing to have a person that she knows everything about my life. And we were in the middle of like working on, we're doing EMDR, doing like trauma therapy and all this stuff. And I woke up one day and got a text that she had passed away. It was like, oh, that's crazy. Still dealing with all of that. But everyone's like, oh, when are you going to get a new therapist? When are you going to get a new therapist? And I'm like, it's so hard to like sit there and explain my whole life to someone. Like once you've already got there with someone, it's just easy. You can call them and be like, hey, my friend whatever did this to me today, and they know exactly what you're talking about.
You have to start over.
Yeah, starting over is so daunting. Like I don't want to have to spend I would have to spend at least 3 sessions, 3-hour-long sessions, like explaining my life, my family history, maybe more.
And it's, by the way, like I'm not speaking for you, but for me that would take a lot of energy to regurgitate things that we kind of already moved away from.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm very sorry dealing with that.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry.
It's it is what it is.
We're not professionals, but all joking aside, if you ever needed somebody just to talk to, we're always here.
Thank you. I
Always.
appreciate that.
Always.
And we'll never give advice.
I think writing my like little books and I obviously writing my songs has always been therapy, but like expanding my like repertoire and what I've been writing has really been helping me in this time that I don't have a therapist. And I like was against therapy for a really long time because I had like trauma regarding therapy growing up. Like my mom forced me to go when I was really young and just lots of other things we don't need to get into, but I didn't like it for a really long time. And then I finally decided to go for myself when I was like 20. And that's when I like got diagnosed with OCD and all that stuff. And then, so I think therapy can be really, really amazing. And I think anyone could benefit from it, but you are such a like, I feel like you can just talk about anything and you have so many great people around you and friends and girlfriend and like, I don't know. I feel like you might be the one person that like genuinely doesn't need therapy.
Do you, dude, it's so funny you say that because I'm a very open book.
You are.
I'm a very open book. So are you. But,
yeah,
but to a limit.
But I don't want to, for me, it's like, I don't want to take other people's, like I would feel a little bit like a burden if because there's always new crazy stuff going on and like I don't have like a partner. Like I don't want to go to my friends every day and be like, I'm feeling like this. Because at some point they're just like, okay, your burdens are not my burdens, girl. Like, get someone else to talk to. So like that's why therapy was good for me.
I would really, really recommend this. So my is the spirituality side, right? So I wake up every day and I go to bed every day, start and end with my Lord. So I tell my friends, especially people like we're friends, but we're not like best friends. We're not seeing each other every day. Please use me. Like I am just a dumpster for emotions. I love it. It's like my thing. I love coaching my friends out of things.
I do too.
And I'm very, very, when we first started dating, the one thing that really burdened her is when she had partners in the past, they opened up everything like they were one person. And I told her, I go, even if we're married, whoever speaks to me about a certain thing does not go to you. You don't have the rights for it. It's something personal. Maybe he doesn't want you to see it in a certain light. So please, if you ever needed anybody just to like dump that, because again, like you don't want to go back to your friends because then they're going to be like, oh, Olivia's probably going to bring that up or do stuff. Use me. Because me and you are like, yo, we see each other and we're cool. But I will, anytime you need a call or meet me up, we're very close. Like I'm there. And I've had a lot of friends dabble in what I told them to do with me. And they really do appreciate it. And I'll always be there for you.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like I'm kind of that way with a lot of my friends as well. Like I feel like I'm the person that people go to when because I've been through so many crazy mental health things and trauma, and I've tried every little possible thing. I've done every type of therapy you can imagine. I've tried every medication. I've thought that I had all these different disorders before I actually got diagnosed and whatever. So I just have like more, I guess, wisdom and knowledge on the subject, and I love giving advice to people. And I think that at least I hope that they think of me in this way. But I feel like my friends, oftentimes I'm the person that they come to, especially when they're feeling sad or, you know, something's really burdening them. They come to me because like I can take it. But there are certain friends that I know I wouldn't want to go to for those things.
Because they're dealing with their own stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to burden them. They might not be talking to me about it. They might not be open with anyone about it. But if you go put your burden on someone else and they're already carrying a lot that you don't see.
Yeah. Because people don't want to open up.
Yeah, it can be the straw that breaks the camel's back, you know? So you have to be careful with that kind of thing. And that's why therapists can be beneficial, because that's their job. Is they're very strong people. They have to take on other people's burdens and hear everything and be that like place to go to, because not everyone can be like that.
I don't know if you're like this with your friends when they come to you, but my whole tactic is super, super easy for anyone to do. It is just listening to them.
Yeah.
And not just agreeing with them, because maybe they don't need it agreeing. I'm very good at like ripping that Band-Aid off. If your mom, your dad, and your friends are telling you a certain thing, I will literally point blank look at you and be like, they're fucking stupid. This is the reason you need to get out of that. Because I love you too much for me to watch you marinate in your own shit. But 99% of people that I spend time with, it's genuinely just them expressing and talking about it. And I'm never like, well, you should do this. And I'm just listening, because sometimes they figure it out on their own while they're just talking it out loud.
Yeah, that's literally what therapists do. Like, you are a therapist.
I'll be a therapist.
Yeah.
But you know what? The thing between therapists and friends that they're on common grounds is that they just care. You know, a lot of people think therapists don't care, and that's so far from the truth. They do care. That's why they went through that experience in life, and they wanted to do that.
I wanted to study psychology back before I randomly started doing music. Before everything happened to me. Yeah, that's what I wanted to study in school. And one of my best friends, Madison, she we've been best friends since freshman year of high school. She's studying psychology, and the reason why she's doing it is because she's been through so much in her life. Like, I can't even. You met her in Chicago. Yes.
Love her.
She's
and
Ariel, yeah. Beautiful, gorgeous girls. Love them to death. So Madison has been through some like insane trauma you couldn't even imagine. Like, just horrific things, like all throughout her life, but also like recently in a short period of time. And the reason why she's into psychology is because she wants to help other people, and she's had trouble finding a good therapist. And now her mentor is her therapist right now. That her therapist that got her through all of this trauma and these horrible things that happened to her recently. She like almost idolizes him now. She's like, I want to be what he is for me to someone else. And I think
awesome.
that's so beautiful. Like she
That is
really,
beautiful.
whoever ends up getting her as a therapist is going to be very lucky. Like she genuinely cares and just wants to make people feel better. And I think a lot of people that go into psychology, like that's why they almost, it's just like they want to figure out their own brain and then also help other people. So
Yeah.
Nobody has it figured out completely.
oh no, God,
Nobody.
no.
But anything that, when it comes to creating art, creating buildings, creating any form of anything that's tangible or spiritual, it takes a lot of failing and then rebuilding and then figuring it out. And just being with somebody or a group of people could help you navigate years of learning. My dad taught me one thing that will stay with me till I die, and I pray that my kids pick this up. Be a sponge when you're in the room. Absorb everybody. When it comes to their knowledge, when it comes to the way they deal with their emotions, you could get a lot out of life by listening and just observing it. And so I've been telling Jess and Belle and Reed, I wanted to get into therapy just so I could now I don't even need it. I truly don't. The past few years was really hard on me, and now I'm at the best state of my life. But then I'm like, dude, I want to just be better. I want to even grow faster. I want to be more knowledgeable. So I'm looking for somebody that I could just sit there and bounce ideas off of the way I deal with emotions, because the way I dealt with emotions before I even met her was terrible. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I got blessed because I met her, and I was like, it was okay with me to rot away with it, but I can't, because energy transfers. And I cannot be selfish and transfer my energy to this girl that only gives me positive energy and lifts me up. I fixed myself for her, and that's when I realized, I'm like, yo, that's the problem. People don't want to fix themselves because they're like, I don't give a fuck about myself, but they'll do it for a loved one.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it totally makes sense. And also, I think sometimes the best time to go to therapy is when you are feeling good, because a lot of the time would be in therapy and I would be doing really bad, and I would go every week, and then I would start to feel better, and then I'd be like, I don't need therapy this week. I feel great. I don't need it. And then I would stop going, and then I would go right back to where I was. So, you can always be better. You can always, even if you're doing well, it's a constant thing that you have to work on. And I'm sure we've all experienced, like, you fall back and you move forward, and that's life. So sometimes when you feel like you don't need it is when you actually might kind of need it the most.
Because you need to
100%.
the tools that you like build for yourself, you need to be able to use them at all times.
Yes.
And yeah, it's one thing to do the work and to know what to do, but then when the actual situation is happening, you need to be able to like use the things that you learn to make yourself feel better, to calm down, to get out of your head, or whatever that might be. And that's hard to do. It's hard to like learn it and then apply it, you know?
Yeah. And you have to practice it, and then you can really apply it. And then it becomes second nature to you to just like know how to react. And you have to change the way that your body and your mind just would naturally react to emotionally to something. And it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you ever find that it doesn't matter where you're at financially or in your work? It's truly just how you're grateful for the circumstance that you're in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So finding somebody to help you feel grateful. Because, again, everything is a perspective. So if somebody could help you see from a perspective that you're in right now, because I can't speak for you girls, but for me, a problem that I had was like, I was waiting for the day for me to be like, okay, now it's going to be great. And so I was like building for that moment. And a lot of people do this with financials. They're like, oh, once I get to this amount of money, I'm going to be really happy. And if you're chasing happiness, it's not going to work. You got to be happy where you're at. And a lot of people would listen to this and comment, well, fuck you, bro. You have this, you have that. Where you're at, of course, you're happy. Dude, the years that I was talking about I was depressed was when I got at my peak of success. And I kept fucking with my brain is like, how was the kid at Five Guys? When I was working at Five Guys, I was making $8 an hour. I was a billion times happier then. And it's because I wasn't in the chasing my happiness stage. I was grateful for what I had, and I was in the moment. And once I fixed this perspective in my life, you could throw any curveball at me, but now I'm just fixing what I'm focusing on. That was like a big problem. There was two like parables or like stories that fixed my focus. One was a quick one, is when you're going skiing. they say don't focus on the trees because you'll slam into the trees. And so that it was like, okay, what are you focusing on is what you're going to hit. And then there was this beautiful thing I just recently been telling everybody about was there was a study that they put a bird in a cage with a snake, and the bird immediately freaked out, right? It was freaking out because it knew it was like really bad. It was gonna kill it. But the snake didn't move at all. And then finally the bird got like calm. And then it got closer because it felt comfortable. And then it finally got so close to the snake, all it had to do was open its mouth, and then it hopped in its mouth and it closed it and it ate the bird that way. And the whole study behind it is, what are you fixed on? What are you fixated on? Because that could kill you. Like, what are you focusing on that it will draw all of your energy towards? You could be in the same place as the person next to you, but this person's just focused on all the beauty in life, and you're focused on all the darkness in life that you're just depressed. But you're in the same place. You're in the same exact place. It's the one where, did you hear about there's a wolf chained up in the dark, and there's a wolf chained up in the light. Which one lives?
Which one do you feed?
Whichever one you feed. So you could feed the one in the light, you could feed the one in the dark, but it's whatever you're feeding into. And so like it takes practice, like how you would do with a therapist. Mm-hmm. So every day, like a psychopath, when I was in like this depressed funk, I fixed my mouth because I'm like, it starts with my mouth. If I woke up, be like, guys, I'm anxious today, or I'm like, I'm just depressed, I don't want to do anything, I'm already starting my day with my mouth. So what I did is I hope this is marinating in somebody's heart, but I wrote really kind things about myself, and I put it on the mirror, or I put it on my phone, and I would recite this to myself. And I was literally doctoring myself by speaking great about myself again, because how you look at yourself is how you're portraying yourself for the world. Mm-hmm. So you see all these, cocky sons of bitches on top, but guess what? They had to be fucking cocky to be there. They had to blow past your expectations of themselves and really believe in theirs. Like, do you get what, am I ranting or doing?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're all like, I mean, it's, it sounds so, but we're all vibrations, and we're all made of like different vibrations. And so if you decide to be negative and you're speaking that out, I mean, that's how you're going to feel. That's also, you're going to affect the room. You're going to affect the people in the room. And it's just like, energy. It's your energy. Like, we can make ourselves sick. You worry about something and you stress about something enough. Like, most times it happens because that's exactly what you said. It's what you're stressing on. It's what you're focusing on. So
that's like the number one thing that I've been trying to work on recently is just being grateful for what I have. And I've achieved more at my age than most people ever in their lives. And whether or not it was years, like, my last like big hit song was when I was 16, 17. But still, like, how many people can say they have a 7 times platinum song? Like, not a lot of fucking people. Like, I've done so many great things, and it's not just about those kind of things. Mm-hmm. I never used to make goals for myself. I still don't like to make goals for myself because I don't want to feel like, oh, when I hit the next goal, then I'll be happy. And I've always felt that way with the way I look too. Like, oh, if I just fix this one thing, then I'll be happy. Like, then once I fix that thing, I notice something else that I don't like about myself. Mm-hmm. Like, it's never going to be enough unless you decide that it's enough. And that's, I've been in and out of like feeling a bit depressed for the past few months. Like, I've kind of had a lot of ups and downs recently. But talking about like being grateful for what you have and everything. I remember one of my last sessions with my therapist before she passed away. She was like, I was just having a really, really bad day, and I couldn't think of anything positive because I was just when I'm in that mental state, nothing is good. Yeah, it's blinders on. Nothing is good. Everything's bad. I can't think of one single thing to be grateful about. And I've always really struggled with like, the way that I look and just that goes back to high school and all of that. And she was like, okay, I want you to just look in the mirror and tell me one thing that you like about yourself. And I couldn't think of one thing. She started naming like quality. She was like, oh, you have such beautiful eyes. And I was like, no, I don't like the shape of them. Or like, and then she was like, oh, but you just have such beautiful lips. And I was like, well, no, I don't like, I think they're too like long this way and too like, I would like point out like the most insane, weird, minuscule things about myself. She was like, oh, but like your hair. And I was like, I have hair extensions. Like, it's just like, I could see the negative thing in every single possible thing that she was pointing out to me. And she was like, I'm looking at you right now, and I just like can't believe that like you can't see that you have so many blessings, and it's not just me trying to point out to you like that you are beautiful. It's like me trying to point out to you that you have such an amazing life. You have legs, you can walk, you can wake up every day, and you have a shelter and food, and I have an adorable dog, and I have friends who love me and family who love me. And I just couldn't, when you're in that state, you just like literally can't see anything good. And recently I've been focusing so much on gratitude, especially with everything I'm dealing with right now, being an independent artist. My entire career was built with this label and all these problems, and I always had other people to blame because when things didn't go my way, it was because I was trying for them to go my way and just didn't work out. So everything that's gone wrong, I've always been able to kind of blame it on other people and be like, oh, they screwed me over, whatever. Now it's all on me, and I have to do everything for myself, and it's really hard. I have to do all the jobs of all of those people. It's all me. It's only me and my managers. And just I've already encountered so many hurdles and all these things, and that's caused me to just lose my mind a little bit. And I've been working a lot and not really socializing that much, so I've spent a lot of time just like ruminating in my thoughts, which is not good for someone with OCD also. And just in the past few weeks, I've been like, I just feel so much lighter because I've been focusing on gratitude and just being grateful for I'm like, I'm doing this on my own, and I have so much to be grateful for. I can't even believe I was that person sitting in my house that I fucking own, sitting there talking to my therapist saying I have nothing to be fucking grateful about, and that I hate myself and I hate everything about myself, and I can find something wrong with everything about the way I look and blah, 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 blah. Like, I can't even believe that I was in, but that happens to people. That's what depression does.
Very normal.
So just being grateful no matter where you are. And I was losing my mind. It was crazy how much I was like actually losing my mind. Like, I was comparing myself to other people. I was like, well, this person's song already has 1 million streams and it came out like 2 weeks after mine. Like, what am I doing wrong? It's like everyone's on their own path. I just started a brand new thing. Like, why am I letting that get to me? I have all of these amazing things in my life. Like, this is just one little part, and I'm also still doing great. Like, everything's great. And yeah, I've just been so much happier ever since I started thinking that way. So it's funny that you bring that up because like it's completely changed everything about like the past few months of my life.
I really love that you're on that wave.
Yeah, it's amazing you're able to like get past that, and now you're in a place where.
And I'm sure I'll backslide. I'm sure something will happen and I'll go back. But I'm really, really trying to just like, gratitude is everything. And again, like what you were saying, like it's easy for you to say that when you have, but like.
But to speak a little bit more from your point of view, it's tough as an artist because if Sydney from Arizona is going to work and she's having a bad day at work, when she goes home, it's done. But when you're an artist and you feel like you're not doing well with your work, the person you are and your work is one. Mm-hmm. So the people that cheer for you will also boo at you. And it's very like overwhelming because you're like, wait, I thought you loved like who I am and like my process of things. And then you start, okay, well, if they don't like this, then they don't like me. So I need to change who I am. And you're like chasing your own tail. Mm-hmm. But what changed my point of view with this, because I was dealing with that as well, because I was never comparing myself to other people, but I was comparing myself to me in this imaginary version of me.
And also, I compare myself to my past versions of myself as so much.
You think about your past, you get depression. You think about your future, you get anxiety.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You get peace in the presence. So I have to be in the present a lot. But this one thing that made me like breathe, this guy told me, he goes, write down all your blessings that God gave you. So I spent a good hour and I wrote down all my blessings. And I was very thorough. I wasn't like leaving out anything. Mm-hmm. And I handed him the piece of paper and I go, okay. Because he told me, he's like, give it to me. And he goes, he takes it, he puts it down and he goes, okay, now look at it. And you could only keep 5 of them. Like say God walks up to you and he goes, hey, for a little bit, you're only going to keep 5. I'm taking all of them back for right now. And I was like, okay. And what I came to realize, the stuff that I kept were what I was born with.
Yeah.
The things that I didn't earn, the things I was given. And I was like, wow, I was born with what all I need. And so when I'm at where I'm at right now, like say, God forbid, this is it, right? Like I just started a new show, but it doesn't work out. and it ends. I could walk away being like, I did a very good job, and everything else is a very big bonus for me. I got to pay my bills. I got to live a life that I told everybody I was going to live. And so when I work off this, instead of me living my days thinking of how big of a piece of shit I am or where I'm not, I'm thinking about how blessed I am to be where I am now to move forward.
Yeah.
And it shifted it. So like if you ever get these demons in your head being like, you're not good enough, you're not like so-and-so, just breathe and know that there was a little version of you that never thought you were going to be where you're at right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So where are you going to be in the future? You have no idea.
Yeah.
And you might, dude, the opportunities are endless. Your brain itself, take your physical attributes away, your beauty, your singing, your performance, your brain alone, you could create art for other people. You're a machine itself, like an AI. You cannot like you cannot replicate this. What you're born with, you were born with this. No one could take it away from you. And so like I see you living in this industry however long you choose to be. No one has the reins over you or your life. It's you.
In whichever way I want to. And like you said, the things that you're born with, the one thing that I was born with was my brain, my creativity, the way that like my ability to create this stuff. So, like when I'm thinking of what I'm grateful for, it's not just, you know, whatever accolades I have. It's the fact that I'm able to do that, the fact that I've made work that I'm so proud of and that I can continue to do that. Even if the work that I'm so proud of is just poems in my phone. Like I did that. I wrote that. Like that's, I'll like there'll always be moments in sessions where like you find the perfect line and you're like, oh my God, yes. And it's like this crazy feeling. Everyone's like, yeah, we did it. And it's just like so fulfilling. Even if the song never comes out, it's just like nice to know that you are able to kind of put things together like a little puzzle and create something that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
Thank you
awesome.
for being vulnerable, because it's the hardest thing to be. And I know you as a friend, so I know you deal with what you deal with. But I can't tell you how many girls are looking up to you right now watching this and being like, she's dealing with that? Like, that's crazy. Then I could lay off of myself a little bit. Because, dude, if you just sat where we were sitting when we were watching you perform, if you would have just jumped in my brain and just heard what I was saying to you, like in my brain, I was just like, this girl's on stage. Your presence was so real and raw, and your audience was having such a good time. The one thing that kept hitting my head, it was like, this is endless. You have your own audience that loves you, and nobody creates your stuff but you. And you are the person performing it. This is endless. I was looking at you like a huge river that will never dry out. And little did I know that you kept thinking that you had no water in your river. And it's just, imagine if we had that conversation when you were going through your dark points of life.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had dinner with one of my friends, like kind of like an internet friend type of person. Like we follow each other on TikTok, and I had never met her in person. She was visiting LA, and we had dinner, and she was like, and we were talking, and she was like, it's so crazy. You seem like someone who is so, like, I look at you on the internet and I look at just who I perceive you to be, and I'm like, damn, she is so sure of herself. Like she knows exactly what she wants to wear, how she's presenting herself, her like musical style, whatever. She's so sure of herself. And I was like, I'm the most unsure of myself person ever. Not all the time, but you know, I have so much self-doubt, and I deal with so much. And I honestly, I always bring it back to like the trauma that I experienced in middle school and high school, and all the bullying and like growing up ugly. I look back at photos of myself and I was like, I wasn't that ugly. Like, yes,
You probably weren't ugly at all.
I had a big,
I know.
I had a very large nose with a large hump on it, and I got made fun of for that. And so I thought that was the end of the world, and that I was the ugliest person in the entire world. Got a nose job, didn't make me feel any prettier. And I look back at photos and I'm like, damn, I thought I was the ugliest person in the entire world. Like, I was just a cute girl, and my nose was like totally, it was my family nose. Like, why did I hate myself so much? It's because people made me feel that way. And like, I don't know. I always hated growing up watching people that were like, you know, stereotypically pretty being like, well, I also experience like not liking the way that I look, blah, 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 blah. Because I was sitting there with thinking that I was the ugliest person in the world and being like, you don't get it. They don't get it. They'll never get it. But it's like everyone struggles with that. Like, I've literally spent thousands of dollars trying to make myself look what I think is like normal or better, and I still struggle with my appearance all the time. And like sometimes when I tell people that, they're like, oh, shut up. And I'm like,
No, but it's
no,
true,
like this
yeah.
is something I've struggled with my whole life forever, like, and I probably always will struggle with it. And I almost feel like weird talking about it sometimes because I don't want to be that person where people are like, oh, well, you've never experienced that. Because like I did.
Yeah. And that's
I
what
do.
we were talking about that in the comments. Like when people are like speaking on your character as if they knew you or if they walked in your shoes. And nothing's worse than when somebody discredits your pain. Because you're like, bro.
Yeah,
like,
you don't. It doesn't. It's
you have no idea what I went through.
yeah. No matter the size of it, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that like you're dealing with it. And it's something that like hurdles you, and it's, you know what I mean, something that boggles like your mind, right? And I think too, it's I was just talking about this week. It's, you know, when you're a kid and you're so sure of yourself because you don't have anybody else's opinions like standing in the way and making you like overthink the things that you're doing. And so you're able to be yourself. And then you grow up and then everybody's opinions and things, you know what I mean? They just like, they stop you from being who you are. And we all have to find, like our inner child, seriously,
Literally.
and go back to who just we are at our core. And like, I just saw some family that I haven't seen in a really long time. And he was talking to me and he was like, wow, he's like, it's so funny. You are just how you were when you were like a little kid. And he was explaining how I was when I was little and I was so sure of myself and I knew what I wanted. And he's like, I've never met a little kid like you. It was crazy. He's like, I can never forget that. And I was like, wow. And all week, all I've been thinking about was like, I love little me and I need to be little me all the time. And you know, when you find those little pockets of like when you really feel like you are who you are, but then you lose that because you're scared of what people think about you. And it's like, no, like I love that I was so sure of myself. And so this week I made that decision. I was like, I'm going back to who I was when I was little and being sure. And you know what I mean?
No, I think about that all the time. That's another like very like grounding thing is like, what would little me have done? Like when I was really little before, I think I mark like when I went to Catholic school. So I went from like preschool to second grade at Montessori, like weird hippie kid school. And then I skipped third grade, went to fourth grade at Catholic school. So it was a huge change. And like the kids at Catholic school were ruthless. And at Montessori school, like everyone was pretty chill and nice. And we just counted beads instead of doing math. And it was like really fun. And I was telling everyone I'm going to be a actor, singer, dancer, and fashion designer. I know I'm going to do this. I'm absolutely sure of myself. I picked out my outfits every day and was obsessed with them. I would play fantasy games. I believed in fairies and mermaids.
Same. I did the same thing. Like,
I'm sure you were like putting on shows at the family, like every family get together. You're like, watch, I did a dance. Yeah, absolutely. I have like videos of me like doing skits and things. And like, I just did whatever I wanted. And then as soon as I hit fourth grade and people just started being mean to me. And I was like, oh, so it's weird that I'm doing this? Great. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I stifled who I was for so long. All I wanted to be was normal. I was obsessed with the idea of being normal.
Yeah. So then you mold and you change yourself based on who you are with to try and fit in. And
it didn't fucking work. It did not work at all. Every time I attempted to be normal, I would do it just slightly wrong. And then I would get made fun of even more. And now what I'm working on is embracing all the ways that I'm not normal, because that's what makes you special. Like everyone is not normal in their own ways. Like if you are completely normal and you fit in with everyone in high school and middle school and whatever, and you just like did everything right, and you like, what's the fun in that? There's no fun in that. Everyone was wearing the exact same things, doing the exact same things, and if you were any kind of different, you were like an outcast and made fun of, and everyone was like laughing at you.
Yeah.
And then all those kids that were being laughed at are now all the people that are successful.
No, literally.
It's crazy.
It's funny too, because when you're in school, when you're in high school, you're told like, this is just a small period of your life and it doesn't last. Don't worry. Like this is it'll be so different. And now that we're here, we're like, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
So the ones who are in school,
different.
it's such a small period of your life and it doesn't matter.
But no, it does.
But it causes so much trauma.
No. And I don't mean, I don't
does.
mean it doesn't matter. Sorry. I meant it in the way where like, it doesn't.
Don't worry about it.
That's not forever. Yeah. Like it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world. Just know that's only a time in your life.
That it does change.
I get
But
what
it
you're
makes the
saying.
biggest impact and it's insane because it feels like everything.
It's whatever you're, because like you're a fresh cut, right? And,
Yeah.
And it's like they're filling you up with whatever they're filling you up with. The biggest blessing that I ever had was, bro, I was like, I was bullied, like the school literally told my parents like, yo, he can't come here anymore. Like it's bad. They would meet me in the bathroom to beat the shit out of me. They thought it was a game. And by the way, I thought I was, and this is sick, and they're going to think I'm joking, but I liked it because I was involved with them. And it was fucked up, but I was like the only time where I could actually be involved with people. So I got into the habit of making fun of myself. And so I made people laugh like that. And I was like, okay, instead of hurting their feelings, I'm just going to comment on what they think it's funny. And then that's where I got into this like self-deprecating type of humor. But my mom and dad were never shy to talk to me like an adult. So what they did, and I am definitely doing this for my kids. They walked me into school and they go, why aren't they making fun of so-and-so? And maybe so-and-so was dealing with a real thing. And I was like, oh, that'd be messed up. And they're like, because they know it's real. They come after you with your dreams and who you are. They go, be confident in who you are and know if anybody speaks out against you, instead of being angry at them, feel bad for them because they're broken. They might not come from parents that support them. They might not have what you have. You have a loving home. So I got the worst end of a high school, middle school, and elementary school ever. But because my home was full of love, nothing else mattered. So I really do tell these teachers or these people like that have kids that are young and they're throwing an iPad in front of them or just wanting the school to teach them everything. It's like, bro, like you're cheapening them out from real learning curves in life. And it's everything starts at home. Everything starts at
Well,
home.
that explains why I'm so fucked up.
And you know what? You don't have to pay me anything. That one was free.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Guys, I really enjoyed this podcast. I really did. And
Yeah, this was really nice.
I'm so proud of you as a
I
human
could talk
being.
for hours. So.
Oh no, we are hitting like a 2-hour mark right now. And usually we go for like an hour, but I felt like we were hitting momentums that I feel is going to not only help me. I do watch back my stuff when stuff like touches me, like when I see from a point of view of the guest that I never really saw before, I'll rewatch it. Or when we're making the clips, I'm like, damn, this is really going to help somebody see it a little bit better. And this podcast is something that I felt like we took layers off and we were very vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And so these are the podcasts that I live for. And so I really appreciate you opening up.
Yeah,
it's very hard to do that. You wouldn't believe the hurdles that I have. I think as a host, my first thing is trying to make them feel comfortable. And you sitting here, it was just, you're a firecracker, dude. And you are a superstar, hands down.
Thank you. It's
Thank
my
you so
job
much.
to be vulnerable. So.
Is there anything that you want to talk about before we sign off? Like, is there any projects that you're excited about sharing? And
I'm kind of still figuring everything out right now. So everything kind of once I decide something comes out, it just kind of happens really quickly now, which is great. But yeah, I have a song coming out in July, but I don't want to say the date yet because it might change.
Could you talk about the title?
It's called "I Should Have Fucked Your Brother."
No, you're joking.
No, I swear to God.
No. No.
Olivia.
It's not about what you think it's about, okay?
I wasn't thinking it was about anybody in specific.
Yeah, I'm like everyone. I know everyone's gonna think that, and I'm gonna get the worst, most annoying comments ever. But I've been involved with different brothers before.
But I've been around the block with some brothers, so don't.
There's been a lot of guys with a lot
Okay.
of brothers. Okay. Also, it was kind of just like a fun idea. It could mean like
It's a fun
fraternity
title.
brothers. It could mean like
But it's not.
It's like
It's definitely not.
It's like the idea of like when someone fucks you over.
Yeah.
And then you're like, damn, like I picked the wrong one. It could be
Yeah.
like. Or when you meet their friends and like and you realize like, damn, this one like kind of is the worst one. Like I should.
Yeah. I should pick the wrong one.
Well, we're going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you look out for I Should Have Fucked Your Brother by Olivia O'Brien.
In July.
We don't have the date, but we know which brother she shouldn't have fucked. Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you guys later, and peace.